Let's bring in Democratic strategist Lindy Lee and 2016 RNC delegate and senior advisor at the Seneca Project, Rina Shah. Good morning, ladies. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Lindy, beginning with you, we saw Biden at that press conference touting those new economic numbers, a rare appearance from him. But Trump is still perceived to be better on the economy than Harris. How does Harris change that narrative?
Thank you so much for having me. Well, the numbers are just tremendous. 254,000 jobs created. This is a blockbuster number. And inflation is now under 3%. And yes, we understand that cumulative inflation is still a pain for many Americans. Harris has vowed to do everything she can. She has vowed to take on the price gougers, the corporate raiders, and everything. And she understands. She comes from, as has been said many times, she grew up in a middle-class family. She's distinctly aware of the pain and the suffering that many everyday Americans go through. That's why she said she would offer a $25,000 down payment for first-time home buyers. That's why she said she would also expand the child tax credit and offer families $6,000 in order to make it easier for Americans to build families. So she has a plan. She knows what she's doing. Trump's tariff would raise prices by 6% for all Americans and result in a tit for tat that nobody wants.
All right, Rina, I'll let you respond to that. Also, the one edge that Harris does seem to have over Trump when we're talking about the economy is women, right? A new poll shows more women trust Harris over Trump on the economy. So this is a challenge for Trump. What can he do to win those female voters back, Rina?
The economy is a feeling evermore, as we've now seen over many months. When we look at the polling, particularly with women, what we're finding is that not only do American women have the power of the purse in several households in places like Pennsylvania, for example, increasingly in the Rust Belt, where women are out earning their male peers, you do find that women are making these critical considerations using one test, and that's who's more stable. Again, emotional here, because Trump has signaled chaos, essentially. He's a grab-it-all candidate. Whatever's working that day is what he wants to lead with. Women, I believe, again, are going to be the determining group in this election. We at the Seneca Project have believed that galvanizing them makes sense because, again, when they are getting that strong sense from one candidate, Harris, for example, that she's more stable with the economy, and the data points of the Biden administration can counter the Trump-Vance ticket with, they are feeling a little better about her than about him. And that's not something much of the inside the Beltway class was ready to see at this point in the race, just 30 days out, where the playbook they were using for many months now was that Bidenomics is failing us. Clearly, that's not the case when we see stronger than expected jobs numbers just the other day.
I heard several pundits following the vice presidential debate say they were shocked when Vance said that Trump was the the stable candidate, when he's been tried to be painted by the left as the chaos candidate, but that's what he said. All right, while Trump may be supporting, struggling with his support, rather, from women, Harris is not doing well when it comes to white working class men, is she? She's not getting the Teamsters endorsement. We saw that a couple of weeks ago, and she's not getting an endorsement either from the firefighters union. So, Lindy, why isn't Harris's message resonating with that particular demographic?
Well, I do want to know, you bring up a really good point, but I do want to mention that Hillary Clinton didn't get the endorsement either. So I don't know what's going on there, but I don't think this is distinctly Harris's fault. She's doing everything she can. She's focusing on the blue wall, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and she's trying to, lose by less. It's not just expanding our margins in reliably blue cities like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. It's about going into those traditionally conservative and moderate areas and trying to cut into Trump's margin. And yes, that means reaching out to white males. And that's why she gave a moderate, inclusive, all-encompassing speech at the convention. That was intended to appeal to white males. And she went down to the border just this past week to signify her support for increased border security. And I do want to remind our viewers, the reason why we still have a problem is because Trump intentionally torpedoed the bipartisan border deal. We could have had a deal. We could have, but he wanted the border as a campaign issue, and that's why we are here today.
Yeah, on the other side, it was too little too late. Rina, what are your thoughts on this?
Here at News Nation, we've talked a great deal about the Sun Belt versus the Rust Belt. And I've seen a good strategy from the Harris Walz campaign in going into North Carolina. That's a strategy that reminds me of the one that Obama used. In his first run, what he did was try to go out to the rural areas and not just appeal to Black voters, but go a step further with that white working class voter that I believe is going to determine the outcome of this election as well. This election is not going to be won on the margins with Black people or people of color. It's going to be the white, sort of left of center individual that has to show up for the Democrats. And look, the right has been using the demonize the Democrats playbook for a while. In many ways, they've been successful. But when you look at places like Arizona, where Carrie Lake clearly is going to lose, I believe, you're looking at an opening for Harris and Walz. And I think that's prominent there in Georgia. You know, Harris showed up at Augusta, I believe, right away. People have been critical of Harris and Walz for not showing up soon enough. The devastation has been so severe that I don't even think they could have had the opportunity to tour by helicopter sooner than they were able to put boots on the ground just the other day. So again, I'm looking at the Sun Belt as a little bit more of an opportunity for Harris Walz than I was a few months ago.
Look, it's also a disruption when leaders come in and there's a no-fly zone around them. That's always a concern after natural disasters. At the same time, the critics would say they could have at least spoken out a bit sooner. Lindy Lee, Rina Shah, thank you so much for joining us.